There are many blocks that prevent us from making progress, but sound and music reach to the heart and to the soul and can bring us closer to the center of calmness. Good evening and welcome to another episode of Center of Calmness. And tonight we are super blessed to have Lucy Lynch with us tonight. Welcome, Lucy.
Aloha. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited.
So glad you're here. You mentioned aloha, so you're calling in from Hawaii, I suppose. How are
Yep.
things in one of the most beautiful places in the world?
I know. And it is. And I feel so blessed to be here. Even though right now we have actually one of the highest, infection rates with our COVID-19. So it has been a little bit of a challenge. We are in our second lockdown stay-at-home order right now.
I see.
Which then, to be honest, though, could be worse because we are still allowed to exercise outside and you can still run to the beach, go in the water and run back home. You're just not supposed to mingle on the beaches. But for me, yeah, I'm very grateful to be here. And this place has such a beautiful energy.
That's awesome. And for me, although I've never been to Hawaii, I've always found the ocean to be super therapeutic. And the fact that you still have access to the ocean and ability to ground yourself there, that's still a wonderful opportunity to keep health and spirits as high as possible.
Exactly. You and I, when we talked about the sound and calmness, and that is already, the ocean has, it's combined, right? We have the sound of the ocean that usually already
Right.
soothes the soul, and then in the combination with actually being in it, it cannot get more healing, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Super powerful from that point of view. And actually, what brought us together, I think, is that sound phenomenon and the ability to work with sound that really has us here together today. And I appreciate that you shared with me that heart meditation where you had
Yes.
the singing bowls and combined with the sound of your voice and the visualization that you were sending us through. I wonder if you might just share some background as to how all that came about.
So for me, it's a very interesting journey. I really started out as a singer and songwriter and performer my whole life. So that was kind of like the beginning. And my background is theater. And I always created through my theater work as well. I always created scenarios for people like evenings with music and free flow poetry, just oasis of peace where people feel beautiful about themselves. And I only over time could see that red thread going through.
Right?
And people always said, "Oh, your voice is so healing. Your voice is so healing." And I couldn't quite in the beginning, like, really handle, like, didn't really know what it really means. I was like 16, 17. What does that even mean, right? And
Right.
I wanted to be a star. I wanted to be a Broadway star. I didn't really think that it would go this way. And over time, I really used my own voice. My voice helped me, the sound of my voice, to break my emotional blockages. And I would really say I sang myself free in many scenarios in my life. And over time, I utilized it more and more. And it literally, for me, I'm very connected to the spirit realm. And one night I had a dream and it said, "Get a singing bowl." And I was like, okay. So I reached out to a sound healer that I knew and I asked her how to choose your first singing bowl. Oh my
Oh,
goodness,
nice.
right? So I got a beautiful bowl, and I got the bowl and played it, and I was moved to tears. And something broke open, but it scared me. So I put the singing bowl for about 2 months in the corner of my room and I didn't touch it. And then a friend of mine reached out and said, "I want you to come to a gathering and bring your bowl," because she knew that I had one. That was the sound healer. I was like, okay. So I went and she invited me to play for the people. And I played the bowl and then I started singing and something chanted through me. Some voice came through. And it was so profound that I then really decided to follow it. And for the first 2 years, probably, I only had that one singing bowl. The note was a G, the heart note, and I was
Right.
just singing with that bowl. And that was really the beginning. And then the more I opened up to that beautiful bowl, more bowls started coming into my life. Then gongs started calling me. I started meeting the right people to guide me further along on that journey. But in my case, it was a very intuitive and very natural process of, okay, now we're integrating this. Okay. I just followed that calling, so to speak.
So it seems like the singing bowls and all of the elements that you've added since that first moment really are only building on and amplifying that natural gift that you identified in your own voice when you were just a late teen, right?
Yeah, exactly. And to really bring that out, I'm also a big fan of helping others to find their voice, right? Their sound, and to really allow themselves to become a singing bowl and sound themselves into the world. Yeah, sound their truth into the world. And I do that because that is what happened to me. It was not that I studied it in a certain way. This is like I literally started sounding what was there into the world, and then these beautiful guided meditations started coming through. And I'm in the process of releasing 4 tracks, the 4 elements about earth, fire, air, and wind. It's going to be all guided meditations with sound. I worked with the DJ together, so it really
Awesome.
It's really all about that, cultivating something, creating a place for people to tap into their heart space, and to from there take a breath, take a time out, take a few breaths, and remember that you are part of this world of sound. Yeah, everything has a sound: the ocean, the trees, the leaves in the trees. And you can even, you can start walking through the world in a different way, that even if you hear a weed blower, that you're not constantly cringing, and it's like, wow, we have a world of sound. Yeah.
Yeah,
And my husband
absolutely.
always
Yeah.
laughs at me because I sing along with everything. I sing along with my smoothie maker. It's like, oh, how can I sing a harmony to my Vitamix?
I have to admit, it would take me a little bit of effort to be able to sing with the weed whacker.
I know, yeah.
It's not
That
a
was an
sound
intense example.
yeah, but that's challenging my mind. I appreciate that example. So I have 2 questions come to mind right away. The first is the sound impact on the individual. Why do you think it is that the singing bowl, and particularly that heart meditation that you sent me, it was multiple frequencies, right? You had a deep resonant frequency that kind of,
Yeah.
once you activated it, it lasted for a long time, right? It was sustained, heavily sustained. And then you had all of the different tones where some of the bowls you would strike and they would just ring out. And then your own voice of either humming or talking us through the visualization. How is it that combination is so effective to reach into someone's soul and actually bring that calmness that we're looking for, and also to bring activity and action that we're trying to achieve?
Yeah. Oh, I love this question so much, because it's exactly that for me, is that combination, because I think there's different elements, and that's just really my very own perspective that I'm holding. First of all, sound, that sound bath, so to speak, the bowls, the foundation, is almost something that for me brings you back into like a womb space where you only, as a baby, where we only heard sounds, right? That's how we perceive the world of, like,
Right, that was all there was, right?
yeah, all there was in that dark
Yeah,
space. Here we are again. And
right.
then, adding the element of storytelling, basically, because that's a little bit what that is, right? Go into the heart space, plant a seed of light, let that seed spiral. For me, that also speaks to the inner child, to the art of imagination, of
Okay.
visualization. And so I feel a very important point from my point of view is that as children, we are so excited to express ourselves. We are allowing ourselves to make sound. We are allowing ourselves to be loud, to be playful. And then there comes a moment when it's like, okay, now enough with that. Now you are an adult and we don't sound and play and sing all of this anymore. Now you grow up and you get a job and you do whatever you need to do.
Right.
And I feel though that comes a lot of times so abrupt, and it's almost like a little mini trauma in itself, that those children sit in each one of us. And I see it really in all of my clients. These children, they are sitting in there and are like almost like caged, like a little like in there and like, huh? What just happened? Right? And I can't express myself anymore. And then it's almost like, and then you have to imagine that child in there listens to something like that and it's like, oh, I can imagine again, right?
It's
I'm
it's a
called.
awakening,
I'm
right?
called to action. I'm allowed to be here. And so it's almost like, wow, it can unfold again and show up and be a little more playful again, right? So that on a different level. And then also the different frequencies is also in a way, different people also resonate with different frequencies, different pitch, right? For some person, the low note, oh, soothing, beautiful, is opening my heart. Somebody else could experience anxiety, right? So it's almost like by also layering it, by giving a little variety, it's also that more people can benefit from it and resonate with the different sounds. Yeah.
I see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get a more universal appeal, and then you've got a piece that really can be accessed and where almost anyone could benefit from that.
Exactly. And every organ has its own frequency, every cell, if you really take it down, to the nitty gritty. So
right.
It's beautiful to offer different frequencies to see the sound. I always say you can trust the sound. It travels through you, and the sound is like a detective. And it's like, I see there's something in imbalance. Let me go there. And then we balance it out. It slows down the brain waves. We're getting into that meditative state, where the body calms down and we can actually experience healing. I'm not really a sound healer. That's why I call myself a sound alchemist, because I think I only create a space for healing to be able to occur.
Understand, right? Because you're essentially creating an environment or a flow, right? An energetic flow, which can be used for whatever purpose the person might need it for.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So then take the flip side. You mentioned that you also have a process to help someone find their sound or leverage sound to activate, if you will, to activate their inner child and begin singing their own song, if you will, right? Could you go into some detail as to what that process might look like?
Oh, it's just, it almost makes me cry. It's interesting. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so emotional about this, because it's because I remember so dearly how I felt when that happened to me, when that sound, when that voice came out, and I was 13 when that happened. And that freedom that I started to experience through that. And so now what I basically do with people, I create a very safe space. I do it one-on-one or in groups, and I create a space. It's play, it's fun, it's joy. And what it does is that people feel safe and open up, so that the voice can slowly come into the forefront, right? And that we can let go of ideas of sounding perfect pitch, perfect notes, all of that sounding pretty, leaving all of that behind and really connecting with that. What is my sound? What is my voice? How do I feel about my voice? What did people tell me about my voice? Is it too loud, too sharp, too this? I give people experiences to experience different voice qualities, to play with different voice qualities. And usually it's very interesting after a while, and they don't even recognize it, because they start to play, they start to get super playful. And then I have a specific process I take them through. And by the end of it, they sing just a very simple I am. And it's every time when that happens, it's that moment every time I want to film it and just really hold on to it, because to see the eyes of the client, oh my God, that was me, that's me, that's my sound.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
Like I
Yeah,
didn't know this about me, that I have that sound in there, it's
that's
just
awesome.
so powerful. Yeah.
And with that, yeah, with a process like that, they're of course completely sure that it's really their sound because they've sampled all the
Yeah.
different spectrum of frequencies, right, and different types of voices. And so once they land on one, then they've got the evidence. Well, I've already tried these others, and
Yeah.
it's got to be mine. And then of course you have the resonance once you actually utter that sound of, okay, yeah, this is definitely me. I can feel it. You get so much return, right? It's amplified back to you. Wow, that's super
Exactly. It
cool.
feels a little bit like someone said it really nicely. I would have never come up with that term myself, but somebody called me a voice doula. And that happened. I was part of a retreat, a virtual retreat, and there was a woman, and she couldn't quite say what she really wanted to say. And intuitively, I jumped in, and I had her birth a sound. And once she did that, and she burst into that like chant or song, that I mean, I was just like blown away. I was
Wow.
like, wow, and then
Wow.
we all cried. It was just this whole
Yeah.
thing. And I was like, that's really it. It's like creating a space of safety, of calm, of peace, and yet also that joy that you can finally express yourself without somebody telling you that you're wrong or that you're off pitch or that you are not good enough. That it's like any sound that comes out, even if it crackles or scratches, squeaches, it doesn't matter. Right now, that is your sound, and it can change.
That's totally awesome. And I suppose once you become skilled in that practice, then it doesn't matter if people tell you if you're not good enough after that, right? It's your sound, and you own it,
Yeah,
right? You're actually
yeah,
projecting on them instead of the other way around.
yeah,
That's huge.
exactly.
That's huge. Now, if I
Yeah.
if I caught on your Facebook site where you've got a lot of content, are you launching a new program pretty much right now, or did you just launch a program?
Yes, so I actually decided, because I've been really a little bit in the background with this, because I felt like, I do already so many things. My music. I was really focused on my music, on my production, on the releasing of all these albums, and then I was more and more invited by different coaches to help in their coaching programs to provide the power of voice. And every time I did that, the feedback was so great from people. And then last week, I was invited to 3 different women's groups to talk about the 5th chakra, vocal activation, and the power of sound. And I was like, okay, I think there is like some momentum. Something is telling me something. And so I
Mm-hmm.
decided to do just like a 3-hour virtual, beautiful event. It's called Rise and Shine, Unleash Your Voice and Find Your Joy. And it's really going to be basically what I just shared, like in a group scenario, the exploration of finding your sound, finding your own voice. And I'm so excited about it. And I chose like I made my own photo with all the colors, and I chose my own,
Right.
I made it all my own. And for the first time also, I was like, I don't care like the branding and the like my website looks different. This is for me. My work has these colors, and I'm going to put it out there because I just love this work so much. Yeah.
That's totally awesome. The graphic I'm particularly was caught by that. The graphic that you put with this, you said it was Rise and Shine, correct?
Yeah. Rise and
Yeah,
shine. Yeah.
that graphic catches the eye instantly, and I feel that because you let go of the old styles and didn't try to maintain a structure or continuity, that it was so much more expressive because the energy just pops off the page with that
Oh, thank
particular
you. Yeah.
photo. Yeah, super brilliant. If you had that picture in a matrix of 100 shots, that's the one that would get the attention. Like
Yeah.
there's so much. I want to use the word purity with it, right? As far as it's
Yeah.
pure to your intention, and it's super expressive through the coloration. All right, so I super appreciated seeing that. So our time is almost done for now, but I wanted to give the audience an opportunity with some contact information to reach out to you if they're interested in this program.
Yes.
Which, by the way, when is your first session?
So the group session will be on the 3rd of October, so there's still some time. It's going to be a Saturday. And I'm now in the process. Tonight I got the message that I have to write a book, which is going to be the same title. And I'm going to start writing that. And then I really want to create different sessions to really move through all the different chakras with the journey of sound. And I'm really in creation mode right now I want everyone to really sing their soul on this planet, because I believe that if we all reconnect to the song of our soul, that only then can we really understand ourselves as a part of the choir of the universe, if that makes sense.
It totally does, yeah, and I look forward to learning much more about that very soon. Well, October 3rd, first session, you never know, I might show up there.
Yeah.
That sounds super exciting. And I want to be sure the audience can reach you either by your website at Lucy Lynch Music, that's LucielYnch music.com, or simply by Facebook through her profile at Lucy Lynch, or by Facebook Messenger, as so many of us are on Facebook several hours a day these days. That's a good way to contact Lucy. So again, Lucy, I really appreciate that you took the time to be with us today. And I'm super excited to, yeah, likewise. And I'm super excited to explore the future potential of sound in all of its forms, and particularly the forms that you've brought forth and introduced me to. So I'm super appreciative and grateful for that.
Thank you. I'm so blessed and blissed out now. I always love to share this so much, to let people know that, oh, you have a voice.
Awesome. Completely awesome. Thanks again, and I'm sure we'll be in touch very soon. And for the Center of Calmness, I'm DK Warner.